Today, we're going to talk about something pretty wild. It's brand new research that might just flip our whole understanding of Parkinson's on its head, because it suggests this brain disease might actually start somewhere completely different, the gut. So let's just start with that big question. When you think of Parkinson's, you think of the brain, right? But what if, for a huge number of people, that's not where the story starts at all? Yeah, that's the core idea we're digging into. The real origin of this devastating disease might be hiding in a place we've almost completely overlooked until now. And here's the first clue in our little detective story. See, doctors have known for a while that gut problems like constipation can show up years, sometimes even decades, before the tremors and other motor symptoms we associate with Parkinson's. Now, what if that's not just some random side effect? What if it's actually page one? Okay, so let's investigate. We're going to treat the gut as the initial scene of the crime, and we're just going to follow the evidence and see exactly where it leads us. First up, let's meet our main suspect. It's a protein called alpha-synuclein, or alpha-S for short. Now, normally, this protein is one of the good guys, doing helpful jobs in our nerve cells. But in Parkinson's, something goes wrong. It misfolds, kind of like crumpling a piece of paper the wrong way, and it starts sticking to itself, forming these nasty, toxic clumps. And now for our second character in this drama, a special kind of immune cell called a muscularis macrophage, or MEMAC. The easiest way to think of these guys is as the dedicated housekeepers for the nervous system in our gut. Their whole job is to keep things clean and tidy by clearing out all the cellular junk. So you have the problem protein, and you have the housekeeper that's supposed to clean it up. And the entire plot really starts to thicken when you look at how these two actually interact. This is where the whole story begins to unravel. Because this is the central question of the entire study. What on earth happens when the very cells that are designed to clean up a mess actually start making it a whole lot worse? Okay, check this out because this little cartoon just explains the problem so perfectly. On the left, you've got a healthy housekeeper cell doing its job, no problem. But look at the right. In the Parkinson's model, the housekeeper eats up that problem protein, alpha-synuclein, but instead of getting rid of it, it lets the protein clump up inside, creating this little toxic ball. And believe me, this isn't just a cartoon. This is what the scientists actually saw under the microscope. Those housekeeper cells, the yellow ones, are literally stuffed full of these toxic magenta clumps of alpha-synuclein. They've become containers for the very poison they're supposed to be taking out. And the scale of this is, well, it's just staggering. The researchers found that these housekeeper cells were gobbling up this toxic protein at a rate about 14 times higher in the Parkinson's models. This isn't some small error, it's a massive systemic failure. So there you have it. We've identified the root of the problem. The housekeeper's mistake. These MEMACs are not just failing at their job, they are actively making things worse by concentrating the toxic protein. But that brings up a big question, right? How does a problem in the gut become a disease of the brain? Well, it turns out there's a direct route. You can almost think of it like a highway. It all happens because of a chain reaction. First, the faulty MEMACs mess up and create these toxic clumps. This makes them send out distress signals, basically an SOS, which activates another type of immune cell called a T cell. Think of these T cells as messengers. Once they get the alarm, they leave the gut, hop onto that gut-brain highway, and travel all the way to the brain. And here is the visual proof. The researchers could actually track these T cell messengers, colored here in magenta. And in the Parkinson's model, you can see a flood of them arriving right at the edge of the brain, ready to stir up trouble. So, if the whole theory is right, that these gut housekeepers start the fire and the T cells spread it, that leads to a really exciting possibility. Could we stop the entire disease just by intervening at the very beginning? And that's exactly what the researchers decided to test in a really brilliant experiment. They thought, okay, what if we just take out the prime suspect, those faulty housekeeper MEMACs, and remove them from the equation entirely? And just look at these results. It's night and day. In the normal Parkinson's model, the toxic protein spreads to the brain, the T cells make the journey, and motor skills get worse. But when they removed the MEMACs, the protein spread was blocked, the T cell highway was shut down, and incredibly, the motor skills actually improved. I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. This is the conclusion straight from their paper in the journal Nature. By specifically getting rid of these gut housekeeper cells, they were able to reduce both the damage to the brain and the physical symptoms of the disease in their models. It's just incredible. And so, this all leaves us with this massive, provocative final thought. For decades, almost all the research and treatments have focused on the brain, long after the symptoms have already started. But what if the real key to stopping Parkinson's is to look at the gut, to stop this problem right at the source, before it even begins its journey to the brain? This research has opened up a whole new battlefield and potentially a whole new hope in the fight against this disease.